The Bible and science is the subject, and I want to deal with that in specifics rather than in theory, if I may. But to begin our thinking a little bit, let's sort of pose what I think is a fair question. Whoever created the universe and everything that exists in the universe understands it perfectly. Whoever created it understands its nature and its operation. In fact, whoever created it does not have to wait for scientific discovery to come across the components and the elements of that creation for him to discover its operation. Since the Creator designed it and created it and sustains it, He perfectly understands it. For example, we can be assured that whoever created the universe understands that the earth is spherical. That is, that it turns also on an axis, that is suspended on nothing, sweeps through space in a fixed rotation and orbit. A more massive solar system of which it is a part sweeps from one end of the heavens to the other, dragging our solar system with it in concentric orbits that make up the whole of infinite space. He knows that. Whoever created knows the galaxies, the staggering reaches of space, the countless stars, and He knows the cycles of air and water. He knows everything there is to know about chemistry. He knows everything there is to know about biology. So, if He wrote a book, we would expect that the book would be accurate. Whoever is intelligent enough and powerful enough to design and create and sustain the incalculable complexity of the universe and all that exists within it, whoever is capable of creating and sustaining that is certainly intelligent enough to write a relatively clear and accurate assessment of that and insight into that, and a true representation of that that is understandable to the frail human mind. When the Creator wrote His book and revealed reality regarding His creation, He would be able to communicate it accurately and truly, not dependent upon any discovery at any time in history. So if we find a book which is a true and accurate representation of the way things really are in the universe, then we will know that the God who created it wrote it. To approach that another way, whoever created reality would never say this: the moon is 50,000 leagues higher than the sun and has its own light. The earth is flat and triangular, composed of 7 stages, one of honey, one of sugar, one of butter, one of wine, and the earth sits on the heads of countless elephants who produce earthquakes when they shake. That's the Hindu holy writings. So we know the Creator didn't write that. The Hindu Upanishad says the sun is the source of all energy in the universe. So we know the Creator didn't write that. The Creator would never say there are only 13 members of the body through which death can come, as the Taoist holy book says. So we know He didn't write that. The Buddhist book says earthquakes are caused by wind moving water and water moving land. So we know He didn't write that. The Book of Mormon says Adam fell in order that men might come into existence. So we know he didn't write that. The Book of Mormon also says in Alma 7:10 that Jesus was born in Jerusalem. So we know he didn't write that. He would not write what is written in Science and Health and key to the Scriptures, that man is not made, I quote, of brain, blood, bones, and other material elements. And man is incapable of sin, sickness, and death. So we know God did not write that. Christian Science, it's called. It's like grape nuts. They're not grapes and they're not nuts. And it's not Christian, and it's not scientific either. Well, I think you get the point. That should be enough to make the point that we need to check the holy books and see if we can't find a book that is accurate, that is historically accurate, morally accurate, and that is scientifically accurate when assessed by true science. The true Creator is going to tell us the truth. The true Creator is an infinitely intelligent information and communication genius. And He's not going to make mistakes in His book because He has created this entire universe to function on a complex, unfathomable, inscrutable information system. The whole universe and all life that is in it depends on information, on the communication of precise information. So we would expect the book written by the eternal and infinite communication genius not to say stupid things and ridiculous things and things that are not true. The Scripture claims to be that book. It claims to be the Word of the living God, who is the Creator, Sustainer, and Consummator of the universe. The Scripture claims to be the inspired revelation of God. It claims to be accurate in everything it says. It claims to be inerrant no matter what it says, because God knows. And He has designed and developed the information, and He has disseminated the information on the pages of Scripture. So, its veracity and its accuracy must be sustained under the most intense examination. The Bible is not a textbook on science. It is not a technical book. But wherever it intersects with science, wherever it intersects with scientific reality, it must be completely true and accurate. True science, the way things really are, can have no argument with the Scripture written by the one who made things the way they really are. The Creator is the author. He knows the way it is. And if this is His book, it will stand every test. Believe me, if the critics had been able to find scientific error in the Bible, they would have found it by now. You say, well, what about things like the sun stood still? Isn't that a scientific inaccuracy? No. When you got up this morning and looked to the east, if you did that, you didn't say, oh, what a lovely earth revolving. You called that a sunrise. Because from your perception, that's exactly what it was. And the Bible, writing from human perception, will say things that are not intended to be scientific explanations, but are perceptions that are normative and accurate. Scripture, however, not science, is really the ultimate test of all truth.